The Queen of Granada, by M. Riff. Chapter 183, The Telephone Operator. Although it was somewhat earlier than usual and Rita could still manage to have a little morning nap, she chose to have breakfast and get started. With the confidence that Rosen had shown her, Rita felt as if she had passed her final exam. On the other hand, she first had to survive an entire working day alone in the clinic. As she drank her coffee, she looked through the list of clients for the day. Some of the clients who lived close to the site had provided a telephone number, but most of the clients who had to travel quite a distance to reach the clinic did not have a telephone. Nor could Rita reach them by bicycle. After much deliberation, she chose to call the telephone operator at the switchboard to find out if customers without a telephone had a neighbor with a telephone who used to pass them messages. The oil crisis had made people share what they had on hand. If one neighbor had a car and the other a phone, they often went together to save on gas. Then they could use the phone to avoid driving the car out, and if they had to, they drove together in the same car. Rita emptied the rest of the coffee in the pot into her cup, took the list of clients, and went to the phone room in the master bedroom, which belonged to Tobar and Rosen. The telephone room was nothing more than a small extra cave that Tobar had carved into the limestone wall. Just like in a phone booth, he had mounted the phone on the wall. He had also placed a chair in there and soundproofed the room with a thick curtain that looked more like a quilt than a curtain. Rita took a mouthful of coffee and looked around. It seemed as if Tobar had built a bunker around the phone rather than simply installing it on the wall in the kitchen family room. Had he soundproofed the room to conduct secret conversations? Or did he want to protect the eavesdropping of the rest of the house, which could be done easily through the phone's microphone? Rosen had kept her English citizenship in order to get the children into an English university. Now she had a girl living in the house from the Nordic countries, where people were not very happy about the dictatorship ruled in Spain and what the dictatorship in Chile had done to Allende, with the support of the CIA. On top of that, the girl listened to Exile Chilean's program on Radio Stockholm. For a moment, it seemed to Rita as if the secret services of all countries would be sitting, listening, and analyzing every word she was going to say to the telephone girl. Suddenly it seemed like Grandma Nara wasn't the only ghost in the house. It turned out that the phone girl was one of Rosen's regular clients and was quite helpful. To Rita's surprise, the girl knew most people's day-to-day lives in minute details. In addition, she had an impressive memory. As soon as Rita read the name, the operator could quote the phone number by heart, as it was written on Rita's client list. She also got the names of those who had a neighbor with a telephone. In her own way, Rita was relieved that the operator was given the task of relaying the short message. She just had to tell them that Rosen was unable to see them that day and they should call the clinic later to get a new appointment. Shortly after noon, Rita heard the Land Rover pull up in front of the house. The day had gone better than she had feared. She had attended to the few patients who had turned up. She had been able to manage their problems without much difficulty. She also had little extra time to prepare leek pie, which was nothing more than finely chopped leeks and a large onion just to increase the volume, mixed together with some eggs, a little oil, and salt. As a cooking trick, she had also added a handful of couscous to absorb the water from the leeks and onion and ease the frying process. She had tipped it all into the pan and put the lid on. She looked through the large kitchen window that was covered in rainwater that was pouring down. Nuria was the first to rush through the garden and into the hall shouting, leek pie, I love leek pie. With a towel in hand, Rita was drying Nuria's wet hair when Tobar and Pal entered. Tobar looked around and asked, "Where's Rosen?"